Hi everyone, good night. Today we are going to discuss about code switching and code mixing. We are here with two guests, Alondra Robles Miranda and Juan Diego Ramos. So before to start, we are going to see a little introduction about code switching and code mixing. As you know, we are living in a globalized world, so people tend to use more than one language. So that make it uh, code switching and code mixing. Switching is when one person is using more than two languages, so they tend to switch, uh, for example, Spanish to English. So the other code mixing is when a person meets one word or two words into a center. So this is this it will be the criteria. You have 1 minute, uh, and when I'm going to tell you when you have 30 seconds left, and when your time has finished. So the first question is about what are some factors that Kim identifies as causing people to code switching. This question is for Alondra Robles.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, I think it's a really important question about what we have read. And well, she mentioned that the situation, and what does that mean? In the text, we can see that it says they might choose a particular code or variety because it makes them easier to discuss a particular topic. Something that we have to know is that a code, in this case, a language is a system that used by people to communicate with each other. So in this case, you can choose the code depending of the situation. For example, right now, I had to switch to English because the situation is a study group. So then we have to discuss in English, and also a speaker and a partner. Something that will makes me switch is, for example, if here Danielito is from the United States and he doesn't speak Spanish, I have to switch to English because I speak English and I speak Spanish. So then if I speak Spanish, he will not understand what I'm trying to say. Then if I speak English, he will understand. So that's one of the reasons, that the two reasons that I noticed, like the most importance for me to switch from one language to another. So those are the cases that I wrote.
Thank you so much, Alondra Robles. Now it's time for Diego Ramos.
Thank you, Daniel. Apart from those factors that Alondra mentioned, I want to add two more: vocabulary and prestige. I mean, vocabulary is when you don't have like appropriate word or lack of vocabulary in one language, so we use another word or phrase in the other language. An example of this could be like the word "ghost" in English. It's not, we don't have a word in Spanish. So we sometimes we say, ella me ghosteó. That means she ghosts me. So we have to use that word because we don't have an appropriate word. And also we have prestige. And this is like very popular here in Mexico among young people. You know, like if you go to social media and TikTok, you will see like these persons like doing get ready with me, doing like code switching, and those persons are like using that strategy. Could be like to engage more people because it's more prestige. We are bilingual, so that means that you are awesome. So yeah, those are like the factors that catch my eye.
Okay, thank you so much, Diego Ramos y Alondra Robles. So I would like to add another factor that Kim mentioned in the PDF, that it is about bilingualism and also social community. And that it is another factor, because if you, for example, you go to USA, you are going to find Hispanic people that speak another language. So that Hispanic group, they can understand if they are speaking in two languages. So that's make it a code switching, because they are speaking in English and also in Spanish. For example, I am speaking in Spanish, and at the same time puedo hablar en español and English. So you are right, guys. So the next question is about, as a bilingual person, what are the reasons that make you switch or mix languages? Now it's the turn of Diego Ramos. So take your time. You have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. So we all of us are we are bilinguals. So I've personally the reason why sometimes I switch or mix language is like because vocabulary. I always like lack of vocabulary. Sometimes I'm very tired. When it comes like when I'm at school, we have like those classes in English, and sometimes I'm very tired of using English. So when I like want to participate, I start like speaking in English, but I don't find like the right vocabulary to say something. So I tend to use like a Spanish. I'm more like expressive in Spanish. So I think personal, that's my main reason to switch or mix languages.
Thank you so much. Now it's the time for Alondra Robles.
Sure. Well, something that I would like to add is that in the PDF we could read that Kim mentioned that sometimes when we want to speak, we use a code. Technically, in all the moments that we want to speak, we use a code. And for example, in this case, if the three of us were in I don't know, in a mall, and then there's a lot of people and we want to talk about something in specific, but we don't want that all the people listen that what we're saying. So then we switch to English because it's a language that the three of us speak. So that's one of the reasons to switch one language to another. And also something that we're related to is in classes. So we all, or Mexicans, we all speak Spanish as the first language. So when we go to the university, the whole classes are in English. So then we have to speak in English. So there's another way, another reason to speak in English, even though we speak Spanish as first language. So that's one of those are my reasons to switch or mix languages.
Thank you so much, Alondra Robles. Another reason is when we are going to the school, we need to speak in English, because we are studying bachelor's degree in English teaching. There we can use English or Spanish, but at the same time, as students, we can do with switching and mix with our classmate, because we are in a social community that we speak more than two languages. For example, Alondra, I think that she speaks three languages. So yeah, thank you so much for your opinion. So the next question is about, do you consider that the emotion we have in a language are related because of the culture of the language? Why or why not? Alondra Robles, please.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I do consider that the emotions we have in a language are related because of the culture of the language. So I don't know if you remember the last time that we had classes, face-to-face classes in social linguistics, that we mentioned that it's not the same to say I love you, because in English, people, the culture is to say te quiero o te amo, which in Spanish is really different to say te quiero and te amo. There are different emotions that might be related, but are not the same. So in a way, I consider that your emotions are related to the language. For example, as Daniel mentioned before, I speak three languages, which are English, Spanish, and Italian. And the three of them are quite different. For example, right now I'm learning German, and German and English that are familiar, I related languages are too cold. Like the emotions, the way to express emotion or the way to talk people, it's like too close and cold. In other way, on the other hand, Spanish and Italian are really different, are warmer. So I think that when I speak Spanish and sometimes Italian, I feel warmer. And also, as in the text we read, it says that the different situation of the languages. For example, I cannot be warmer in English because I normally use English in for school and for those cases. So I cannot speak to people. For example, if I want to talk to my friends that they also speak English, I'm not going to say something in English because we both speak Spanish, and I can reflect my emotions by Spanish through Spanish. Sorry, and that's why I think that are related. So I do think so. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Alondra. And now it's your time, Diego.
Yes, thank you. And I think Alondra stole my answer because I was going to say the same, the I love you. And in English, for example, in English, I tend to say much I love you to every person. But when it comes to Spanish, I don't say te amo to like every person. I just like keep the word to a very specific person because it's the culture like that. And Mexicans, we don't say te amo to every person. We just say te amo to our beloved person. So I think it has like a very related it's very, very related with the culture and that we have. And I also agree with Alondra that I cannot be vulgar or I cannot be like very jokes or have jokes in English because I learned English in academic environment. So I don't have like those emotions in English. I have those emotions in Spanish.
Okay, thank you so much, Diego. So, in my opinion, I consider it the same as you because emotions are related with the language. For example, if we go to Asia, we are going to see different languages, and when people are speaking, for us, it sounds like a heavy or for example, the the language from Russia. I don't remember. Uh-huh.
Russian.
Uh-huh. For us, sounds really heavy, because our language it is more like a suavecito with for example, es muy lindo, and with other language doesn't exist that, and also uh, people who speak a second language, they they tend to, how do you say it? They tend to use the first language to express emotions and feelings because it is not the same as Alondra mentioned. Uh, I love you. In Spanish, we can say a lot of things. For example, te amo, te quiero. What else? What else? Te quiero, tú eres mi, mi amor, or something like that. So,
Very romantic.
so thank you so much, guys. So this is, I don't know if you want to add your conclusions or something.
Yeah, for sure. Something that I would like to add in like a summarize of everything. I think that it was mentioned also in the book. It says that the people normally, for example, also Diego mentioned before also, that we use the language, for example, English, we don't have like those vulgar way to say because all the English we learned was through academic environment, and also we don't have those feelings, and there's no another way to say it, just if we called in live in the environment but we haven't been in the United States or in England, Australia, and or in the English speaker countries. So that's why we don't have like those feelings that we have in Spanish. So that's my conclusion.
So, my conclusion, I think this topic is very important and to see it like in sociolinguistic. And I think so code mixing, code switching is very it's very popular. I will say like that, very popular among bilinguals or multilinguals. And here we have like white chickens. So it's very like common in those like communities. So I think it's very important to like understand those factors.
Thank you so much, Diego and Alondra, and I hope that you like this section. So this is the end of the discussion. Thank you so much. So bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You.